people do ask me, who is your target audience? There's a book I read, and it's called The 4-Hour Week. I don't remember the author, but if you Google it out, you'll see The 4-Hour Week. One lesson I took away from that book is that you are your target audience. When somebody asks you who is your target audience, or you go to business school and you have to come up, you start thinking, now who is my target audience? Do I target children? Do I target boys? Do I target women? What kind of women? You have to come up with a description of that target audience you have come up with. That book says your target audience is you. The people who are like you are the ones who are your target audience, because it is you have traveled through a journey. There are many people who want to travel through that journey. There are many people with the kind of goal that you have. Those are your target audience. Yeah. So, and by the way, it's said there are 2% of people in the world are like you, and we are 8 billion. Do the math. So 2% of 8 billion people are just like you. So that's your target audience. But that the description of your target audience is you. So in my case, it's, I don't want to say it's a woman, no, because there are men who also want to be like me, which is a success, to be the best version of themselves, who want to move from the class they were born into the next one, because that's what generational wealth. If each generation we move from one level to the next. So me, I was born in middle class. My job is to move to upper middle class. My daughter's job is to move the family to the next generation, like that. That's how you're gonna get there. So my target audience are people who are in the middle class category. I had actually written it down. I don't know whether I'll see it here. Who my people, they're people who desire to become a better version of themselves. People who are interested in education. Yeah, people who believe in wealth creation and wealth preservation and generational wealth. That is my target audience, because that is me. Yeah, that is who I am. So I'm looking for people like those. And the same it is with you with your business. Who are you? Who is your target audience? But I guess you have to think of the product. Yeah, you have to think of the product. Yeah. And therefore, basically, the core message of my message, which you'll find here on YouTube and everywhere else, is generational wealth. But that involves a lot, because it involves families, it involves you as a person and the families you're creating. It involves, and the most core person in that generational wealth is you. You know, what are your goals? What are your values? What are you intending to acquire? Do you know that what you acquire is based on who you are on the inside? And therefore, the formula for success is being multiplied by doing equals having. Most of us focus on doing what you do. You know, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a this, I'm a that, I do this. We are focusing on doing, hoping that it will give us a having, a good having. But everyone who focuses on the doing is never happy with their having, whatever they have. You see, you must focus on the being. Who are you? And who you are is on the inside. These are internal characteristics. Are you an honest person? Are you a diligent person? Are you hardworking? Unajituma? Who you are will determine what you do, and that will determine what you have. But if you focus on what you do, kujituma tu, unaamka asubuhi very early, business will not be very good for you. So focus on whom you are becoming on a regular basis. Those are my client. That is my clientele. That is my target audience. People who don't want to be the same yesterday, today, and forever. The Bible says God is the same yesterday, today, and forever, because He is holy. But as we are not the same yesterday, you cannot afford to be the same yesterday, today, and forever, because you grew up knowing nothing and you've come learning and learning. So your job should be always to learn and become better in how much you have learned, you know. And then whatever you do will give you good fruits. That is where your focus should be. Whom are you becoming? And by the way, I have talked about that in this book. Whom are you becoming? And I would like to give you the chapters in this book so that you know whether you are my ideal client. And chapter 1 is dubbed Recognize Your Purpose. Chapter 2 is Dominate the Creation Game. You can only dominate the creation game if you are creative, if you know who you are and you're creative based on who you are, not competitive. But the world system has taught us to compete, you know, like where my office is right now. We're recording where my office is. And in this place, I don't know, complex. It's a complex. It's called a business center. We are like, I don't know, 10 lawyers, 10 different kinds of lawyers. That's something that would really scare you, that would really scare you. But the interesting bit, they all focus on different laws. Even just yesterday, my new neighbor came and told me, oh, I'm a lawyer and I practice. That's something that should give you worry. Now, are we going to be competing with clients? But she then says she focuses on environmental law. I don't focus on environmental law. But even if she focused in the same area as me, I would not be bothered because I'm not in the competitive game. I'm in the creative game, okay? And that is what you should be working towards, becoming a person of creativity. Now, Chapter 3 of this book is the tools of creation, which are your imagination, your thoughts, and your words. If you think kuongea too carelessly and think that you have the right to think and talk carelessly, we can see it in your fruits. And the Bible says, by their fruits we shall know them. Number 4 chapter is awaken your wealth. Consciousness is how you think. Yeah? We can be able to tell how you think by the friends you have, by the things you do, and things like that. So if you're a person who is interested in improving how they think, then you are our target audience. Now, chapter 5 is called Kaizen. Is the Japanese word for Kani, C-A-N-I, constant and never-ending improvement of yourself. So if you believe in constant and never-ending improvement of yourself, then you are somebody we can have a chat with. Like I said, then we talk about the psychology of money. In this book, we talk about the psychology of money. I know there is a whole book about psychology of money. And the good thing with creativity, the book written Psychology of Money, he is saying totally different things from what I am saying. And you should learn what they are saying and what I am saying if you want to become a better version of who you are. Number 8 is life is an investment. Yeah? You have to invest in whom you are becoming. You have to invest in your marriage, in your children. When we were growing up in the 70s and 80s, all our parents feared was if you're a girl that you don't get pregnant. And they never worried about the boy child. That was the only concern, and so they would watch us such that the girl doesn't get pregnant. You're not allowed to have boyfriends, you're not, all that. That was their goal. But today, pregnancy is even a very simple thing. You can deal with that with your daughter. Today, the attack is on the child's mind. Your children, the influences in society are all targeting your child's mind, whether your child is a boy or a girl. And therefore, you must be very particular how you invest in your child. So you invest in your marriage, invest in your children, networks, charities. We talk about that in this book. And finally, the last chapter, which is chapter 9. And bear in mind, our first chapter was recognize your purpose. Our last chapter, after we have taught you all these things, now chapter 9 is to manifest your purpose. Okay? So if you're a person who believes in purpose, who believes you are not born just to come into this earth, go through the school system and get all the grades you get married and get kids and then die. If you're a person who believes you are created for greater things than what society has told you is what you should have, then you are our ideal client. So this book is a nutshell of what I have come to learn. We are supposed to know and practice, and practice if we want to be a success. Okay? I think what inspired me is where I grew up in Nairobi, but in a village, huko in Nairobi though. Now, everyone is inspired by where you come from. Yeah, I actually tell people, you can see somebody behaving in a certain way, and now you just wonder sasa huyu alitoka wapi. But everyone is inspired by where you came from. Unaona mashida yako. So everyone is inspired, and I can understand people who are competitive instead of creative. Yeah, but I can assure you will get more money if you are working on creativity than on competitiveness.